door. You should be right at the front.
Lord, we ask you to bless this meeting, to bless all those that are here. We ask you to remember our colleague, Joyce Bowman, and to take her and perform a miracle, Lord. We'd like to have her around more, and if that's not your wish, help us to accept that that's not what you want. We ask you to help us to make decisions that are wise and in the best interest of all our people. We ask these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Everyone, please face the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance along with me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any agenda additions? Are there any citizens' comments? Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward it to the president or the clerk of the commission. Comments by any citizen will be limited to 3 minutes. I do have one card, Mr. Rick Cowan.
We'll be talking about this under
Oh, that's what
resolution.
you're here for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll be talking about it.
Okay.
Does he come up then? Or he can speak on an agenda item now, can't he?
Yeah, he can speak now.
That's when he, yeah.
Come on, you can speak. Please state your name, address for the record.
Mr. President, members, thank you for giving me the opportunity this afternoon to talk to you. My name is Rick Cowan. I'm a retired Bossier Parish Sheriff's Department deputy, 33+ years in law enforcement. And I now represent a national grassroots organization called Coalition Against Bigger Trucks. And our organization is opposed to any increases in truck weights and sizes that would affect our nation's infrastructure. Just a short overview. I've got a packet out to each of you that goes into more detail with information and background. I want to stress we're not against trucks. We recognize the importance they play in our economy. The fact is, though, that this increase, number one of the arguments that we're concerned with, and me being in law enforcement, is public safety. Just adding 8.5 more tons onto the current weights of trucks is just, when it hits an object, it's going to cause more damage. And that's going to equal to more serious injuries than we already have now and more fatalities. The other side of that is, of course, the fragile infrastructure that you all deal with all the time. One of the biggest issues that we have with this is the bridges. You know, one of the proponents put out one of the things that, you know, they're wanting to do to offset any damage, potential damage that the heavier weights would propose would be to add a 6-axle, which on the surface is correct. That would diminish some of the, as your engineer could probably tell you, that will diminish some of the surface wear and damage on regular roadways. The problem is it doesn't go into any further than that in talking about what effect it would have on bridges, which is nothing. The additional weight would be, the additional axle wouldn't diminish anything of the damage that it causes to the bridges. They could put 20 axles on there, it wouldn't matter, because once they get to that bridge, it's total weight. So that's one of the fallacies when they're purporting the increases. They don't talk about the bridges because they don't have a solution. The whole idea of the increase is, you know, going back to revenues too, is the current legislation that's before Congress. There's no language in the legislation which would increase any revenue from the trucking industry to offset any of the damage that's proposed. So unless you have any other questions, if we're going to discuss it further, I'll be here for questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any visitors today?
We move to reports and administration reports.
All right. We had Mr. Scott Martinez scheduled for today for work session at the request of Commissioner Epperson, but Commissioner Epperson is out, so we have rescheduled Mr. Martinez to be here for May the 6th instead of today. So Northwest Louisiana. All right. Good. You're Mr. Efferson? Would you mind coming up to the, and giving us a little update, if you don't mind? State your name and address for the record. All right, sir.
Who's he from?
My name is Doug Efferson. I'm from the Northwest Louisiana Human Services District. I'm the executive director and hired in February. Y'all have appointed Nigeri Camera to represent Caddo Parish. She is our board member. We are in the process of transitioning 3 key services in Caddo Parish to the Human Services District. Mental health services, addictive disorder services, and disability services. These 3 separate services are going to be moving under the authority and jurisdiction of the board in which Nigeri serves on, and we will be making that transition starting July 1st. 2 years ago, processes began, board was appointed, and we're in the process now of actually implementing the change. You may remember 2 years ago, mental health and addictive disorders was combined into something called the Office of Behavioral Health. Now we're adding disabilities to that and putting it under an even bigger umbrella. So the services should not change. What you should have, hopefully, is instead of Baton Rouge dictating a lot of the services provided and choices and how monies are spent locally, we should have a local board with Nigeri on it, helping us decide how best to be efficient with the monies that we have for those 3 services. We are looking for input from the community. Y'all have a lot at stake with regard to those 3 services. I have a card I can leave with Jennifer there. If any of y'all have any input, questions, concerns about those services, we are having an actual board retreat this Saturday. So we wanted to come to this meeting so it'd be hot on your brain. And if y'all have a chance to send me an email or Nigeri a communication, we'll include that in our retreat this Saturday. Okay? Are there any questions?
Just one.
Thank you.
Sure.
My question concerning, thank you for coming, sir.
You bet.
Concerning the cuts in terms of the juvenile justice fund regarding the mental health, how are you going to adapt your program to help those in juvenile service with mental health? The state preparing a lot of cuts. I just left a meeting in New Orleans regarding that.
Yes, and I think that's probably one of the better examples of how local governance will probably allow us to shift some of the resources around to better meet those cuts in different programs. Right now, we're still under the auspices of the state, and different budget restrictions and buckets cannot be mixed. I think in Caddo Parish, you know what that means. But once the transition's complete by July of 2014, hopefully we will have a lot more input into that. And I would love to have your example to show why a local governance is what we need. Beginning the transition is one thing. Having actual financial autonomy won't occur until next fiscal year, which will be July 2014.
We'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
I want us to say thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate
Thank you, Mr. Everson.
You bet.
Next, we have a EPA grant update with Mr. Ken Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Lucky. I'll keep it quick. I'll keep it real quick.
You have on a conservative shirt today.
That's
Thank
what I
you.
thought.
Look at the jacket. Look at the jacket.
What's the deal?
Jacket. It's in the
Don't let him get to you, brother.
That's right, it's
Yeah,
tax,
Randy took up for you today. He
That's
took up
it. That's
where you left
exactly
off.
right.
it's
Hey.
tax day.
Thank you.
It's tax day. Mr. Cox has it right. Real quick, I wanted to update you, Commissioner Lynch. You and Dara put us into trying to work on getting the EPA grant for some technical assistance. That technical assistance has been moving forward. Trust me, I've worked on it pretty hard the last couple of weeks. It's actually going to come fruition. Thursday for our commission meeting, you will have a representative from Tetra Tech. They're representing the EPA arm on it. They will give you about a 10-minute presentation of about clean water through development type workshop that we're having on Friday. So you're going to be also going to be invited to our workshop. You've probably already received the invitation. She's putting on a workshop on Friday on the 5th floor of Government Plaza to work with developers and the community on having clean water for our developments. So that's where we sit with that. Thursday, she'll be here Thursday to visit with y'all. We're going to take her out on the sites and look at some locations, mainly the declaration of emergency for the Southwest Caddo Parish, and then we'll have all day Friday to do our workshop. So that's pretty much where we sit with the EPA grant. There's going to be some follow-up after that, but it's just kind of there. So that's it in a nutshell.
Anyone can attend the workshop?
We've sent out invitations. We've sent it to everybody that we could think of. The workshop is going to be from 8:30 to about 3:30. Lunch will be provided, and it'll be a good opportunity to hear some theory, and then later put the theory to work through some exercises.
Where's it gonna be?
5th floor conference room.
Here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Commissioner Williams? Commissioner Lynch?
Yes, now, is this part of the UDC? Or is this
We're tying it into the UDC because obviously we know some of the issues with the UDC, and there's no reason why we couldn't go ahead and try to educate while we're doing this as well.
Okay, cool. Well, I certainly want to thank Dara and yourself and Woody and everybody that was involved. This is a resource that came to us through NACO. Jumped right on it, and I think we were one of maybe 14. It was a very competitive process. But Caddo Parish came out on top and was able to get this technical assistance, which puts us a little bit further down the road with some of the goals that we have for our parish. So thank you so much.
I will say the city of Shreveport, we sent invitations to a few of their engineers, and they called up going, well, we didn't get that. How did y'all get that?
NACO, baby.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Thank y'all very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ken. Next on our admin report, we've got Big Jim Whittington to come up to talk to you about adjudicated property procedures update. Big Jim.
Weights or something in there? Thank you, Mr. Lucky. Madam President, Commissioners, good afternoon. A couple of weeks ago at your last work session, we had several visitors come down and talk about adjudicated property. I just want to briefly address and kind of help you understand some of the things they were talking about. Mr. Dennington really did not have any concerns. Miss Rosalind Collins, who was the second speaker, we have she had a problem with the city of Shreveport, and which I've personally put her in touch with the person at the city to remedy that problem, and with the assessor's office. Now, I haven't been able to get her problem fixed at the assessor's office, but we're still in the process of working on it, and I think there will be some kind of remedy to it. With regard to Mr. Smith, who was the last person up, first of all, let me explain. He kept mentioning the 10 days, the 10 days, the 10 days. What we tell them on that 10 days is, as you know, when we go to bid, whoever is the high bidder is then required to go give notice to any interested party who has an interest in that property, whose interest they want to terminate. And that notice period varies depending on how long the property's been adjudicated. It's either 60 days or it's 6 months. And the 10 days basically says, we tell them that when they're supposed to contact our office at the lapse of whatever time frame they're working under, which we tell them which one they need to be working under. And we tell them that within 10 days of them contacting our office, we will prepare a deed and have them come in and sign it, which we do. We don't say in 10 days you're going to get your deed recorded, which in Mr. Smith's case did not happen. In this one instance, we sent a letter to the city of Shreveport dated January 23rd of 2012 asking them to declare the property surplus, which at that time was our standard procedure. We never had a hiccup before. Mr. Smith called, we brought him in, had him sign the deed, had Mr. Wilson sign the deed, and then forwarded the deed down to the city of Shreveport. When the deed got down to the city, the city said, we never received your letter of January 23rd. So we've got a copy of the letter in our file. They say they don't have anything. So we then had to, wait for the city to do their due legislative efforts to declare the property surplus and be in a position to sign the deed. In the meantime, on this particular property, in conversations with the owner, before Mr. Smith had his deed back, recorded at the courthouse, which you don't own anything until you get your deed recorded at the courthouse, he went to the house and knocked on the door and either told them they were fixing to have a new landlord or he had bought the house or something like that. That's when the lady went and got her money together and came in to redeem the property. And as the city was not in a position to sign the deed yet, she came in a couple of days with her, I think it was $2,400 that she owed, and brought her $2,400. We can't prevent them from redeeming that until that deed is filed in the courthouse. And so that's the facts on that particular issue, which I think he had the biggest problem with. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Why wasn't the city ready? What was their problem? Do you know?
They said they never got our letter of January 23rd, which we have a copy of it in our file, but they said they never received it. And we don't mail those. We hand deliver those.
So if they just say that, we can't use a copy of the letter that we have?
If they haven't done anything, I mean, it still doesn't matter. They've still got to go before the city council and have it declared surplus.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm going to let somebody else go. Is it any way that we can, we got some issues, something's falling through the cracks.
No, from now on, we're getting them to sign a copy of that letter when we hand deliver it. We're going to have them sign it. Whoever we deliver it to, there's 3 people that work in that office, and whichever one of the 3 we hand deliver it to, we're having them sign and date a copy of it. That copy goes in our file.
And so if that happens, and then they come back and say, well, we didn't get it, there's no way they can't.
You sign for it on this date.
But there's no way that they cannot not give the person their land that they acquired.
Now that's getting into a different issue.
I know, it seems like that's only just fixing the issue of I didn't get it.
Well, in the city's defense, I mean, we've only had this happen a couple of times, but we've had some stuff that has gone down to them, and at some point in the process, somebody has said, we're not willing to declare it surplus. Either the city wants it for some future use, or thinks they may potentially want it for some future use. But that's only happened a couple of times. It was really on some property right over here by Deja Vu. 2 pieces of property, and the city refused to declare it surplus, and I mean, our buyer was okay, but he wasn't real happy, but we put him in touch with the city, and they said they may want that.
Well, my only last concern I have about it is that it's being advertised and it's being, pushed for people to go out and purchase land and property that's adjudicated or property that's up for sheriff's sale or, whatever the situation may be. And then when they go out and they follow the steps and they do everything that they need to do and they get to this point and then they find out they don't own the land, I mean, that's kind of not good.
Well, we tell them, I mean, we caution every buyer that we have, because until they get a certified copy of that deed back, they don't have the right to go on that property. It's not theirs. You've got to wait till you get your deed. They don't own anything until that deed's recorded. That's what makes it effective towards third parties. Because they ask all the time, can I go out there and start working on it? Can I go do this? Can I go do that? No, you can't.
Commissioner Lynch?
Oh, he answered my question about the signature, so we are doing that now. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were doing that. Thank you.
Same thing which we should have been doing. It's the same thing I do when I deliver the city a check for their prorated portion of the taxes. I do make them sign for the receipt of the check, so. Anything else?
Yes, but it's, never mind.
Okay.
Commissioner Johnson?
Jimmy, who starts the process? Do we start the process and then the city follows behind us, or does the city start the process, or vice versa? How does
No,
that work?
we started. As you know, under the intergovernmental agreement, we process all the sales if they are adjudicated to the parish and the city. Now, the city sells stuff which is adjudicated only to the city, which there are a lot of them out there. But if it's adjudicated to the parish and the city, we process the whole application. All we need for them to do is declare it surplus. And that's kind of like on the property I mentioned over by Deja Vu, that's kind of what puts us in a bad situation, because the people come to my office, they apply with me and my staff. We're the only ones that they're talking through the whole process. And then, you know, we get a call from the city saying, we're not gonna go with this.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But that's only happened on 2 occasions. Most of the time, they just go along with what we do.
And then when that happens, then they call us and say, well, Parish said.
Well, I mean, we've given people the option before, you know. I mean, if they want to go ahead and buy the parish's interest, they can do that. But we wouldn't recommend it, because as long as that city adjudication is there, the city could come in and take possession of it or something like that. I mean, I don't want to sell something to somebody that a year later the city's going to seize, you know. So, but that's the way. I mean, typically it's in fine fashion. I think Mr. Smith made a mistake by going to that house, because when he did that, that lady went and scrambled and found her money and brought it in. But that's all on that. And I will, before I sit down, please let me just assure the commission, and I believe the word that was used was fishy. There's something fishy going on?
Yeah.
There ain't nothing fishy going on. We treat everybody that walks in the door exactly the same, do exactly the same thing on every application. So just let me assure you of that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. The last thing we have on our admin report is a reminder, the Police Jury State Association Day at the Legislature is Wednesday, May 1st in Baton Rouge.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Next we have communiques and committee reports. Sure. I want to make note that the sheriff sent a letter to each commissioner's in front of them today.
That's it. Commissioner Lynch?
I'll go back and read it tonight before I go to bed, but I kind of glanced at it, and I really would like for you or Woody or somebody to call me about it. This letter. that the
Okay.
sheriff sent. I read it kind of fast, but
Okay.
I think I get the gist of it. And y'all give me a call on it. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just want to report the Governor Juvenile Justice Conference was very informative. I learned a lot. I spent a lot of time in Ms. Laurie's class who was teaching it. I'm an honorary probation officer, so I'm going to be coming out to y'all house, sending y'all conflict resolution. Also, I bought a T-shirt for all the members that served on the committee. Juvenile Justice, I bought it with my own money. Everybody know, my own money.
It must have been on sale.
No, these are Juvenile Justice T-shirt. You want two? What size you wear?
Big one. Biggest one
Don't
you
call
got.
my size out. I'll take
Besides
it.
you.
Extra large.
He better not call my
Don't say,
size.
don't say nothing, John.
Oh, thank you.
And give this one to Lynch and Ms. Bowman, right? Who else served on that board?
I didn't get mine.
Now, this is a blood shirt, right? Not a Crip shirt.
Make sure Ms. Bowman get this.
Ted, could you come up? Ted, Cox. Why you just bring everybody one?
You gotta give it up. Also, I'm excited about the graduation that happened on Saturday. We graduated young men, turned them into gentlemen with the help of the juvenile court probation office, those that are sitting in the audience, those two, Ms. Burns and Clay. And Brother Cox, you were there. You might can tell them a little about the graduation and what's been going on. What
Well,
he has on is a sweater. The young men were dressed up in a nice tie, sweater, khaki pants, haircut, good posture, hand reading, no sagging pants. They learned conflict resolution, anger management, etiquette skills, how to eat at the table, how to treat a lady, how to respect their mother, to follow the flag in the country. They learned a whole lot within the 6-week term. It was more than just 12 or 6 hours. We spent overtime, probably 20 some hours. I spent a lot of time myself donating my time and energy to make sure the program is right and make sure the resources that we've approved here were spent on those children. And I can't think enough, had not been for this Caddo Commission body, who took a leap faith effort and voted supporting that initiative. I want to say publicly, thank you, all the commission that supported that initiative. That's good, wise investment into the community where these young men won't be in prison system, $45,000 to $50,000 a year for one. If we just help one, we done save probably the taxpayers a lot of money, housing inmates. So I just want to say to you, and God did it anyway, God did it, but through you guys, through you ladies and gentlemen, we were able to provide this service to this program. The next class would be May the 2nd. And the phones are ringing off the hook to be in the program. I think some people are trying to get recycled just to come back through the program. The kids will not be left out. There would be a ongoing mentoring component where we would check on the kids, their grades, check on them in school. Also, kids will come back and be peer role models to the next group that come through. So I'm excited. It's one of the most worthwhile programs that go beyond the call of just mentoring, and some of the programs just go further than others, but it go far and beyond with a military component. So I'm looking forward, and the best is yet to come. But Mr.
Yes, sir. Just real quick, I'll tell you, I went to the sessions 3 different times. I went to the graduation Saturday night, and I tell you, graduation ceremony, and the young people that got up there and the mothers that got up there and talked about it was very, very powerful. It's an excellent program. They've worked very hard. I'll take my hat off to Captain Glenn Robinson, the Shreveport Fire Department. He's done an excellent job with the program. Like I said, I've looked at it with a very close, critical eye. Now, we've got to see if there's sustainment, whether or not this program sticks, and we look at these kids a year from now and see what they accomplished or what, hopefully they hadn't come back through our system. But I will tell you my initial impression. I'm very, very impressed in it.
You're so impressed, you got one of the sweaters on.
That's right. I got one of these. Now, I wouldn't get up and say these things just for the sweater, but it is a good-looking sweater. Okay.
Yeah, you would.
But,
you got your swag on today.
But I will tell you, if you have the opportunity, you need to come out and take a look at it if you have any doubts at all. But like I said, we'll know in a year whether or not the program is sticking. But my initial impression, and I think I speak for Mr. Walker and Laurie McGee, he's chief of probation. They were also out there several times. They've also been very impressed. So this is...
Tell them about the parents. They were there.
Well, like I said, I do a couple of mothers got up and spoke. One mother, I won't reveal her name. She had 2 sons. They stood on each side of her, and it was powerful. Now, again, we're going to take a good look at it. We're going to track these kids. We're going to keep up with the statistics and see how they do. But this is, there's 2 programs, in my opinion, that has done an excellent job that we've had. And one was our boot camp program, which we no longer have. Others, our Facts of Life program. But I'm going to tell you, this program that we've got right now, I think is going to get right up there, and we're going to see some impressive results. So, and if you want to come out, you can come out the time that they're getting ready to do the physical fitness component, because I'm going to be in charge of that. You're welcome to participate.
Why are you looking at me when you say?
I just was glancing over here.
Okay. Looking at Jennifer.
Commissioner Lynch. I was not looking at you directly.
You got to earn one of those swag. They didn't, until they passed the test, they did not get a vest. They had a pre and post test. They had to actually go through a mock drill, learn everything we taught them pre and post test. Before they got done that vest, they had to pass the test. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Certainly, I just want to really thank you, commissioners, for your support and for your voting, for your vote of confidence. Last but not least, Mr. Administrator, every time I go into the community, go out of town, people say, when I come to Shreveport, there's nothing to do for families. We have a surge of new businesses coming here. Downtown is developing housing and apartments. We got a lot of job flux here. And the only Disney World of Caddo Parish is the riverboats, and they are for adults only. So I know the Waterway Commission have millions and millions of dollars. They just gave money to the city for a dog park. However, we probably the largest contribution to the Waterway Commission in this area of town. Why are we asking for food stamps when we should be asking for millions? Now, I know we don't own any property on the riverfront, but we ought to be looking to try to buy some so we can bring in a aquarium or a theme park, or bring something to this community for families and children. We don't have anything to attract more tourists and keep the dollars in, stop going to Dallas and New Orleans, because we can be the new city of like San Antonio, like New York, like a New Orleans. But we have to think big and stop acting small all the time. We think we're a big city, but we have low ideals. So find out what type of money we can ask the Waterway Commission. Maybe come up with a plan. Ask for, $10 million. All they can do is tell us no. All we can do is ask. I don't know how the board is appointed, how the funding come about, but would you research that for me? Find out how did they get the money. Find out, do we have anything? Did we have a bayou plan or some years ago?
Commissioner, I'll tell you, until we actually own some land that is contiguous to Red River, we're not going to be getting that money direct. And we have researched. There are some lands out there available. But maybe the parish, if they wanted to, could look into buying and working it from that angle. But right now, unless that money is earmarked, you have to have land contiguous to Red River, and it has to be used for recreation. That's the two stipulations that are on
The
it.
Waterway Commission is not going to give the money to the city. It seems like we have a good relationship with them. So I know we ask for big money, buy some land, and develop some ourselves within the city of Shreveport.
That's up to y'all.
But could you explore, do we have the capability of doing what I asked?
Yeah.
Find out what type of designers or what we need to do to even get the ball rolling. So I'm sick and tired of people asking me, there's nothing to do for families and children in this community, but put them in jail. They have nothing to do. So we have to be proactive and find alternative programs and keep these tax dollars here. We need a Walt Disney. We need something. We don't have anything. We need to be planning for the future. Shreveport getting ready to boom out, grow, boom. It's going to be an economic boom here. We got to have something for these people that come to our great city and our parish for them to do here. So would you look at that for me? That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. I did want to report on the Economic Development Committee met today on the EB5 program, and we are looking at bringing it to the board for possible approval to begin the EB5 program here in Caddo Parish. We will have to work out some legalistic logistics in it before we actually go forward with it, but we did discuss how it would be a good, profitable program for us here in Caddo Parish. So just want to let you know it'll be coming through. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to remind the commissioners who cover the Shreveport area that tomorrow that they will have a meeting, public meeting in the chamber dealing with the water and sewer rates that will be going up, or proposed going up in Shreveport, and I'm quite sure that some of your constituents will want to see you face it without getting plenty of calls. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Thibodeau.
Yeah, can I ask Mr. Cox a question?
Yes.
Ed Cox?
Uh-huh.
How often are you going to have a formal follow-up program on the kids that are in this program?
Clay. Clay can answer that.
Well,
Well, he had
yeah, I'll let Clay,
said
but
that we were
as
going
far
to
as...
follow up. I thought he knew.
Well, you mean as far as once they graduate from the program, whether or
Right.
not we're going to continue to mentor them? Well,
We do.
most of them who graduate are still on probation. So you will say that, yes, there's going to be a continued follow-up program. Unless they have been referred by the school board and they're not a FINS kid, if their FINS are delinquent, yes, there will be a follow-up program.
Or aren't all of these kids referred to the program by one of the juvenile judges?
Well, not by one, by the juvenile services, by the probation department. I don't want to speak for Clay, but,
I understood a judge had to refer them to the program.
well, the judge gives the final okay, but you can ask juvenile services to take a look and see, make a recommendation of what programs the child would be best suited for.
I mean, to really know if this is as good a program as you believe it will be, you've got to have follow-up. Without follow-up, you can just say that the program looked great for 6 weeks, but after that, who knows?
Well, I said that when I spoke.
I'd like to be able to vote for it next year,
Yes, sir.
but I can't do it unless I know that, a year or 9 months or 6 months after a child has been through the program, that there has been a significant change in his life.
You're right.
Because
We call
if
that
not,
recidivism rate.
It's just another program.
I agree with you. And I mentioned that first. Statistically, the kids are going to be tracked. Like I said, those that are on probation, we're going to be kept up with. Those that aren't on probation, I'm not sure if there's a component to...
The children in this program were referred by FINS and by probation. We have the name of every kid, and we'll be able to track if they come to the misdemeanor referral center, to Johnny Gray Jones, to detention, or get rearrested. We'll follow up with their parents and their teachers to follow up to see about behavior generally. But we'll definitely know numbers in terms of reoffense. A survey to the teachers and parents is going to be a little more, verbal, I guess, in terms of surveys. But we'll have absolutely every single kid. If they get back in touch with law enforcement in any way, we'll know.
But what you want to know is at the end of the year, what's the recidivism rate? How many of these kids came back and reoffended?
Right. And if they were put in the program because of behavior that didn't necessarily require that they were, the law be called, bad behavior from schools or whatever, we need to know if that program really made a long-term difference.
Sure. No, what we're hoping, we'll get numbers from school fight diversion to see if they're causing trouble in school, and we'd survey teachers and parents to find out. So we should know.
Can you come back and let us know something maybe quarterly?
He'll be back, Mr. Gibbons.
Absolutely.
I asked him to come back and report to the body.
Yes,
Good.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And lastly, Mr. Williams mentioned that he went to the convention and that he was very involved with conflict resolution and anger management. And if you were here before the meeting, after our committee meeting in juvenile, you had an opportunity to see conflict resolution and anger management in action.
Yeah, you make me be proud. I do you proud.
That's all I had.
Commissioner Lynch.
I just want to say I have on my 3-inch heels today, just in case. Let me commend Commissioner Williams for the work that he's doing. We talk about talking the talk, and people do a lot of talking, but when it comes down to doing the heavy lifting, a lot of times people aren't around. So I definitely want to commend him for working with this program. I was out of town, but I did get some good feedback on the graduation ceremonies. I think it was on television. I hadn't been able to go back and look at it, but I heard that the media coverage was good. I just want to say at some point as we go forward that I hope that we'll bring law enforcement to the table.
Time to go?
Okay?
I thought it was a fire alarm.
That reminds me when I was a fireman, I got a flashback.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I can run in these hills if I need to. My father was a police officer back when the police were respected and they were role models. had, you know, impact within the
Law
community.
enforcement was there. They did how to deal with the police.
Right, and so,
How to get out
I
the
think
car.
the more positive interaction that kids, particularly young black boys have with law enforcement, you know, that'll go a long way toward helping. The other thing I wanted to let you know was that the Terrebonne Parish passed the sagging pants ordinance last week. They didn't do a resolution, they did an ordinance. Of course, the ACLU was there at the table, and so I'm sure it's gonna go, you know, further, but
That's Orlando.
yeah, we'll keep it. It was all over national news, but we'll keep an eye on that. And the other thing on the EB5, I think NACO's International Task Force can probably give us some more direction on that too.
Who is that?
Stephanie Osborne
Okay.
with NACO. There's actually going to be a seminar in Fort Worth this summer,
Will you
particularly.
text me that?
Okay, on
Contact
that
her?
program, so I know they've been doing some stuff on it.
If you have a number, give me a number too.
Okay, and on this water thing, I hate you reminded me, I've been getting calls too. I've communicated to a couple of people on the council that they're not getting another dime of my money for whatever it is they're talking about. I don't know what they did with the money. They've been adding fees and stuff to our water bills for the last 10 years. If I don't use a drop of water, I have $15 in fees on my water bill. That's without using a drop of water. And so, if I may have to take a bath every other day to accomplish my goals, so y'all bear with me. I just think it's a travesty what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just unconscionable, because I remember when, and I'll say this tomorrow, but I remember part of the reason they were saying they were adding these fees over the last 10, 15 years was to take care of this problem. And now they're saying, we gotta raise the rate 78% to take care of this problem.
78%.
And I wanna know where,
job.
and keep it nice, where has the money gone?
Analytical
That
guy.
doggone money. So,
Analytical.
so I'm opposed to it. Thank
I
you.
thought this was the last one they were doing, the last raise, 2013.
Yeah, 3 more.
After this?
This.
I kinda know.
Thank you.
Oh, what time is that meeting
5:30.
in here?
Yes.
Ain't gonna be enough room.
Commissioner Land?
It's Tuesday at 5:30 PM. I thought 8:30 AM.
No, it's 5:30 p.m. from the email I got.
I want to thank Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Lynch for harping in on that, because that's exactly what I wanted to bring up as well, that 15 years ago, they raised our water rates with the understanding that they were going to fix the infrastructure issue within the city limits of Shreveport. And then a few short months after raising our rates, they then sold the one profitable aspect of the city of Shreveport, which was collections for Department of Operational Services, to a private company. And then all of the repairs instantly disappeared, and then that office started going into the red. This particular tax increase on your water rates, bringing in to the tune of our bill going up 78%, also provides the mayor of the city the opportunity to sell that increased anticipated income for an immediate flush amount of money of several $100 million that would immediately go into the mayor's office for their spending discretion. And I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right for our bills to go up, and then to say that it's for one thing and then that never happened, only to wait 15 years to try and jack it up 3 times the price one more time. That's all, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Commissioner
John.
Escabay?
I got you.
Since everybody brought this issue up, I thought I'd just go.
We knew you'd have to say
This goes
something.
back to the administration of Hazel Beard, and they've raised the rates, raised the rates, raised the rates. And the thing that the city council never did in their raising of the rates and their ordinances was pledge the excess revenue to go into the ground where it needed to go. It's just left out there. So they didn't do the work. And through Mayor Beard, Mayor Williams, Mayor Hightower, this thing's just exacerbated. Now, the whole time the feds you know, our great wise overseers, our masters up in Washington, D.C., have been telling us, fix it, fix it, fix it, and we're going to put a consent decree on you.
They did.
Well, okay, well, fine. We've ignored them for all these years, but made an effort to fix it here or there, just enough to let them off. But now all of a sudden they're coming to this mayor and they go, we're going to shut you down, and he's panicking, and the city council's panicking. Oh, they're going to shut us down. Well, they're going, the federal government's going to say, you people in Shreveport can't flush your toilets anymore? I mean, is that what we're going to do? So they're holding a gun to our head. We don't have to pass this bond right now. We don't have to raise these rates. The feds aren't going to shut us down. They're leaning on us and other cities that have aging infrastructure problems. They can't keep up their own interstates, their own dams, their own bridges. But they come over here, so let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Amen.
But basically, we have a city council and a mayor who are chicking it out. They're capitulating to the federal government because, oh, they're going to shut us down. And secondly, just for thought, you got the same bond counsel who under questionable circumstances will be selling these bonds for immediate cash infusion, all that money going out of state. So I just say, you know, just look at the history of it and just tell them no. Thank you.
Say no. Ha ha ha. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
I think we already had the president's report. We have no old business. We move to new business. Authorized introduction of local assessment ordinance number 49 of 2013, accepting the construction and improvement of water line within the right-of-way of a portion of Goldsberry Road, located in a portion of lots 7, 14, 16, 17, and 20, Shadow Pines Estate, Unit 1, lots 1, 10, 11, and 12, Shadow Pines Estates, Unit 2, lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Shadow Pines Estates, Unit 5, lots 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, Shadow Pines Estates, Unit 6. Said subdivision being located in Section 34, Township 16 North, Range 13 West, Caddo Parish.
I'll move.
Moved by Commissioner Thibodeau, second by Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Lynch.
Yes, let me make sure I understand the financial impact statement on here. The 41,198.66 is the balance that's left. To be collected.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
That's okay. The part that you say here already collected 94,000. What figure does it? What is that?
That was the Goldsberry Fair Share Program. The residents got together on their own. There was 15 of the 21 had already gotten together, and they went ahead and wrote their check and submitted their check in already of $97,000 or $94,000.
Okay, so the total, the 10% is the 94 plus the 41.
No, ma'am, 10%, the project was $137,000, 10% of that we paid was $13,000. Whatever was left over was broke up by all of the, based on every resident, based on how many linear footage of property that they had. And the group that stepped in, they paid their portion. The 41,000 is the one that has not.
41 is the part of the 90%.
That's correct, that's part of the 90%.
Oh, okay.
Of the lots that have not already paid.
Okay, and so some of the people that are left on this one are the people who have not paid?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and everybody else paid their 90%?
That's correct.
Based on their land?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this assessed amount, that means they haven't paid any?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Several of them are waiting the approval of the ordinance. I've talked to a couple of them.
Okay.
Several of them are waiting the ordinance approval so that they could either get on the payment plan.
Okay, so these are the ones that are going to go on the payment plan. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Lynn.
Ken, when these ordinances originally passed, what percentage of this is paid by the parish, and what percentage of this is paid for by the citizens who live in those houses?
10% parish, 90% resident.
Thank you.
Reimbursed, that's correct. We've paid it. We've paid for it up front, and they're reimbursing us, and this is the mechanism in which we're being reimbursed is this local assessment ordinance. Some of them have already paid us in full cash, which was $94,000. The rest of it is through their local assessment ordinance. But it's 90. It was a 90-10 split.
Ultimately, when it's all over with, the parish will pay 10 and they'll pay 90. And if they don't pay their 90%, we have a lien against their property. Is that correct?
That is correct. At a 5% interest rate.
At a 5% interest rate. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can you get me a copy of the folks that paid, how much each one of them paid?
I don't know I can tell you that they formed as a group, but I can tell you what
They formed as a group.
they did. There was 15 of the residents, of the 21, 15 had gotten together. And from what I understand, they paid a flat rate of each. Some of them paid more than what their assessed rate, or some of them.
We just got a check for one amount.
We got a check for one amount that included the 15
Oh, I
lots.
gotcha.
So I don't know exactly what they paid,
Okay.
but I can tell you what their assessment would have been
Yeah,
if they
that'll be
did.
good.
I can give you that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This formula is only for residential, correct? Residential area?
From whatever y'all choose to,
9010
yes, sir.
is just for a residential area.
No, sir, from what I understand, it's an open ordinance for anybody who signs the petition at 61% or more, 60% or more.
I'm saying, but the 9010, as of it's written in the ordinance, mostly is for residential.
I don't think so, no, sir. It can be for any development.
Do this area have any growth?
I'm sorry?
Do this area have any growth potential?
The lots, it's a mature neighborhood, this is Goldsberry, it's a mature.
I asked you a question.
Yes, sir, it's a mature neighborhood, there's one empty lot for growth.
That's the only growth it has? One lot?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No other questions, please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Authorize the introduction of local assessment ordinance number 50 of 2013, accepting the construction and improvement of a water line within the right-of-way of a portion of Split Oak and Green Oak Drives, being located in a portion of lots 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 21, 22, and 23, and 24, Wild Oak Subdivision Unit 4. Said subdivision being located in Section 21, Township 16 North, Range 13 West, Caddo Parish.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Thibodeau, second by Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Lynch?
Yes, Ken, now what's the difference between these two? If these people are paid and these are all assessments.
Yes, ma'am. This particular one, they did not form a group out there, but they're willing to pay whatever their assessment is, on their own.
Okay, are these all going on plan, or do you know?
I do not know. I have talked to, I've talked to 3 of the folks out there, and they're ready to write a check right now.
Okay,
I just told them to wait till after the ordinance is passed.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
No other discussion, please vote. Next item, Mr. Clerk. That passes.
Authorize introduction of ordinance 5305 of 2013, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the general fund in the amount of $13,542 for additional funding for the Caddo Office of Homeland Security for the year 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Baker, second by Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Escaday?
I would hope we'd all sit back and think about what we're doing here with regards to this. I believe the director, Mr. Davis, came before us last meeting and was pretty forthcoming, not only in his comments, but upon his response to questions. And the question, what he indicated to us was the grants that fund this local office, which is not just Caddo, but it's Bossier as well, are running out, and they don't anticipate them to be renewed. And that he fully expects, and it's his plan, that in the future, we fund that organization. So I think we need to think long and hard. There's no emergency here about whether we want to fully start to fund his organization and buy that baby when basically we're funding money and we have no oversight, whether we're getting a return on the current investment, because outside of dealing with hurricane refugees, most of the work they do up here is very incidental. When we have storms and hot bad weather and tornadoes, the parish takes care of most of that stuff, and the debris and all. It, just makes me question, is this necessary? And do we need 6 people full-time? I mean, what do they do every day? What do they do every day to earn this money? And knowing that this is just the beginning, they're going to want an additional 100 next year, and pretty soon just whatever it takes. I do know that the city of Bossier and the city of and the parish of Bossier have denied this request because they're asking the same questions. So I would like to have some more information about, is this necessary? Are we getting the return on the investment? And is this a duplication of services that we already provide? And to what extent, if we need this office, does it need to be staffed and funded? Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch?
Yes, I'm going to support moving it forward on our agenda. Certainly, this entity is not the first group that has come to us, you know, at some point in the year because of the cuts, state cuts or federal cuts, needing additional funding. You know, Sandy's office, you know, when we're asleep, they're up. They've been the face of disaster recovery efforts, you know, in Caddo Parish, as well as, you know, when our area is called upon by other parts of the state, they coordinate all that and take care of all of that. We don't have to utilize our staff and workers for, you know, some of the things that they coordinate and pull together. You know, it's not, thankfully, a lot of money. I do agree with John going forward, you know, the request, the proposal that he has that we fully funded or increase almost double for next year, you know, that's a horse of a different color. But I think to help them get through the remainder of this year is a reasonable request, and it is very much a prorated request to us, so I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, my question was Bossier taking a part of this as well, but John answered that question for me.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I respectfully disagree with my colleague on this particular issue. I know that no one has an act of nature or control of that. However, when it does happen catastrophically, we need to prepare ourselves for the situation to clean up at hand. However, I too want to know next year, as John and the others have stated, that we need to take a case-by-case basis. However, due to the uncertainty of the federal government, it all falls in the lap of local municipalities every time something happens. Unfunded mandates falling on us. There's going to be a lot of it in the near future. So we have to prepare ourselves to support those things that are wise and worthwhile what it means to the citizens of Caddo Parish and the city of Shreveport. So yes, I'll be looking like a watchdog on next time to make sure that these funding will be used in the right way. Thank you.
Thank you. And also myself as well. It was to my understanding when he came before us that he was just asking just for right now, and it's $13,000 now. I agree. If he wanting us to totally fund the whole operation in 2014, I think that's something we need to think about and we need to look at.
He's my mentor.
Commissioner Escudé.
I would just ask you to consider some other facts. One is, all I'm asking for is that we delay this, and the reason we need to delay this is because they're not out of money. This is May, or not even quite into May. Their proposal is under the threat of sequester cuts, 95% which have not happened. So that's the whole thing. Why don't we wait to see if it's evident that they're going to run short before we take this up? There's no smoking gun here. And if we do increase, and our partners in Bossier do not, then how are they going to prevent, say, we're going to isolate our efforts and concentrate it only on Bossier citizens? We're not supposed to carry somebody else's load. It's prohibited by law. So what are we doing there? And for all the good that's perceived that's done that they say they'll do, I would ask them beforehand to come here and show us what emergency service they provided over the last 5 years for the citizens of Caddo as far as disaster relief and actual events that have happened outside of taking care of displaced people from the hurricanes. And you're going to find it's not. So you got 6 people that sit around all year thinking about bad stuff that go on. They come here once a year and scare us to death with bird flu and all that. And I'm not saying you're aware of it, but does it take this many people thinking about it this much, doing what I believe will proven to be that little? Do we really need an office this size? And then my last point is, how do we kick in and they say this money is only going to be spent on Caddo Parish's behalf? I don't think they can do it. So all I'm suggesting is we delay till they can come to us and prove their case. Thank you.
He couldn't prove that because that was a question that I did ask if it was.
Well, then if he can't prove it, I'm not going for it.
But,
thank you.
Commissioner Cox.
I'd like to make a motion, and if I can get a second, to postpone this till our mid-May meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by
Already been-
Commissioner Cox.
We already have a motion on
We
the,
already have a motion on the floor.
and then a voting mode.
He's making a substitute motion.
Yeah.
Making a
Substitute
substitute
motion.
motion. Okay. We vote on the substitute motion first. That passes.
Next we move to
Next item.
authorize introduction of ordinance number 5306 of 2013, granting to Chesapeake Operating Incorporated the right to drill under certain properties
Move to
owned by the
Thursday.
Caddo Parish.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Commissioner.
Well, nobody's wanting to discuss it.
Anybody discussing that?
It's clear, man.
Please vote.
Authorize introduction of ordinance number 5307, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the customers.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Williams. Are there any discussion? If none, please vote. Next item.
Authorize resolution number 18 of 2013, support for the submission for a grant to the Louisiana Office of Community Development Community Water Enrichment Fund.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner
I'll second
Williams.
that.
Second by Commissioner Escudero.
Mark your calendar.
I know.
Out of second.
Are there any discussion? None, please vote.
The other one, come and see you gonna do that one.
Next item.
Authorize resolution
blame
number
me.
19 of 2013, authorize Caddo Parish Administrator to request and authorize Louisiana State Mineral and Energy Board and Office of Mineral Resources to accept nominations and advertise for oil and gas and mineral leases.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique,
Second.
second by Commissioner Thibodeau. Are there any discussion? If not, please vote. That passes. Next item.
Authorize resolution number 20, 2013, to become a member of America's Counties for Energy Independence.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Dominique. Are there any discussion? If not, please vote. Next item. That passes. Next item, please.
Authorize resolution number 21 of 2013, urging the United States Congress to oppose H.R. 612, raising the federal truck weight limit.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch. Second by Commissioner Johnson. Are there any discussion? Commissioner Lynch.
Yes, this resolution is just asking Congress to wait until after the study that is supposed to be done by the Department of Transportation. The study is supposed to be completed in 2014. Of course, you know, they study everything to death up there. But they're supposed to be studying the impact and the implications of heavier trucks. And this is just asking that before they move forward with any legislation, that they wait until the impact studies have been done by the Department of Transportation. Thank you.
Commissioner Cox.
I'll be voting against this today simply because the resolution is not warranted. The trucking industry has gone through a lot of things over in its history. Raising your weight from 80,000 to 97,000, you would think that that's a lot. It is 17,000 pounds. But you're asking for a transportation company to add an axle to a trailer to accommodate this, or to have special permits for that particular load. In the brochure that we have been passed out, where it has 3 tractors, or 3 trailers, these are 28-foot pups. They're not the 45-foot pups, or the 53-foot trailers, okay? These are already running in the United States. If you're not familiar with trucking, you would not know this. These are run on interstate highways that have drop-off lanes where these trucks can go in, break down, and then go in either 2 at a time or 1 at a time to the nearest city. The closest one to us is out of I-10, out of Arkansas, all the way into California. These would have to get special permits from the state of Louisiana
if the Congress decides to do anything with it. I do not ever see triples running in Louisiana because we're not set up for it. But when you start talking about raising your rates from 80,000 to 97,000, you're already talking about permits that are justified and can be bought right now from trucking companies. So they're asking us to worry about something that can already be done. Okay, I agree. They need to do a study. But when I read stuff like public safety, thousands of people unfortunately die on the interstate highways every year. And it's not because of 100% because of trucks. You've got kids texting, you got adults texting, you got adults drinking, you got adults speeding, you got kids speeding. It's just not the trucks that are on this highway and interstate system that are causing the problems. Before anyone attacks or talks about the transportation industry, you need to learn about the transportation industry first. 99% of whatever we touch, drink, buy, sell is run by trucks. Getting a study done is needed, is overdue. But when you talk about infrastructure to our bridges are falling apart because the government will not pay to repair them on a regular basis. They build them, and then they say, well, good enough. They never come back until the potholes are falling through. Case in point, Jimmy Davis Bridge. Go over that sometime and see what needs to be done. That's why there's talk now of building another bridge. Yeah. And it's not because trucks. It's because it's built and then forgotten about. It's easy to blame an industry that carries the weight of this country. I know, I've done it for 25 years. I've been in this industry for 25 years. Don't be afraid of a picture of 3 triples because you'll never see them in Louisiana because we're not set up for this in Louisiana. I'm voting against this simply because it's the right thing to do. It sends the wrong message down to Baton Rouge to send the message up to Washington and try to get everybody on their heels about something that, one, is already being done under special permits, and 2, I'm not saying anything against anybody, but you need to know the industry before you go against it. So I would ask that everybody vote against this today, and if it comes back after the study from Washington, maybe we can look at it again. Thank you.
Going to be supporting Commissioner Cox on this. First of all, I don't know that little old Caddo Parish ought to be sending a resolution to the Congress of the United States on anything because it's probably not even, I don't even know where it'll go, much less having copies sent to our 2 senators and congressmen. It seems like if this issue was that important to us, we'd contact them directly. Being as they've been so helpful and accommodating on our local issues, I don't think this is one that we ought to aggravate them with. When it comes to the problem or the issue of bridges, special permits are required now to go over roads and route to determine so that we don't put excess wear on our parish roads. These permits and routes are determined and bought. We've got a road police guy out there enforcing this. We have a lot of this now due to the Haynesville shale activity that require some of these heavier than normal loads. And I mean, right now, as you all know, since 2007, if it wasn't for the Haynesville shale and the timeliness for that, we'd be like everybody else in the rest of this country. We'd be in a world of hurt. So study being good, telling them what to do at this point or asking them what to do on our behalf is another matter. And since this seems like it's an international issue, I think probably before we act, I'd like to know what NACO's position is. And I would think that they should speak to this matter rather than the Caddo Parish, barking like a chihuahua on something that we don't need to be involved in. Thank you.
Mr. Lynch?
I think we've kind of carried the conversation beyond the wording in the resolution and certainly the intent of the resolution. It's not against the trucking industry or anything like that. I think we agree, David, that with the study, that a study should be done, but there has been a bill filed to raise the federal truck weight limit in advance of the study being done. And simply, the Police Jury Association has been involved in this, as well as NACO, with asking Congress to defer the passage of the bill that's on the table, at least until the study is done. And so that has already been done. Roland did send an email, I think he copied you, David, saying that they had been lent some support to the efforts, as well as NACO, to say, you know, we recognize that this bill has been filed, but Congress, you asked the Department of Transportation to study this matter first. And this is just basically asking them to defer the passage, at least until the study is done. So that's basically all it is. It's not saying you can have 3 trailers or not have 3 trailers, or have permits or not have permits. None of that has anything to do with this resolution. It's just asking them to wait until the study is completed. The other thing, I guess I'll lastly say, in politics, I've kind of learned to never say never. So when you say this will never be done in Louisiana, I don't know. You know, the trucks are getting bigger, and the cars are getting smaller, and my eyesight is getting worse. So, you know, I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm still, I've been driving for a long time, and I'm still scared when I come up on an 18-wheeler.
I got my truck parked out, I can take you a ride right now.
On the interstate, and so,
Can't live forever.
so I'm not, so I'm not afraid, you know, this is not the purpose of this. This is just saying, let's join, you know, other counties and entities to say, let's wait until the study is done before, you know, this bill is taken up. Thank you.
Commissioner Comp?
And there's certain merits to what Ms. Lynch is saying, but when you have a brochure that comes out with this defeats the purpose totally. So that, and realistically, a study may come out next year, may come out in 2016. We don't know. But to do this resolution, I'm still going to vote the way I suggested at first, and then we get to NACO in Fort Worth. The Transportation Committee will be taking this up, so we'll look from there, and then if we come back, maybe then we'll do something. Thank you.
No more commissioners to speak, please vote. It fails. Next item.
Authorize commissioners to attend the National Organization of Black County Officials Economic Development Conference in Wayne County, Detroit, Michigan.
So moved.
Second. Been moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Chair.
I'm on the board.
When you going?
Commissioner Lynn.
When I was first elected to the Caddo Parish Commission, I represented a district that was 60% Democrat, 40% Republican, and 50-50 if you wanted to look at African American population, Caucasian population. It was at that point in time that I asked to become a member of the National Association of Black County Officials. Along with that, I've become a member of the Louisiana Association of Black County Officials. And so I just started going to the meetings. So I started going to the meetings when I was already on a convention, going with NACO. And I went in and I learned a lot in these meetings. And then I went to finance and our everybody here, or Jerry Spears at the time, and I said, well, go ahead and make me a member of this. And so they sent in a check. Recently, I went to finance and I got a copy of not only my check where Caddo Parish has paid for me to be a member of the National Association of Black County Officials.
That's
Pardon?
totally different. This is a
I'm sorry, I have the floor right now, Commissioner.
different organization.
I have,
I just wanted to
okay, I didn't mean. The National Organization of Black County Officials.
That's different from the National Association.
And the National Association of Black County Officials and the state. And so for the last 7 years, last 5 years, I have the canceled check where the parish has paid. However, for the last 5 years, I've gone on their websites and I see everybody's name from the parish on there as a member. I see Commissioner Johnson's name, Commissioner Lynch, Commissioner Epperson, Commissioner Bowman, Commissioner Baker, and Commissioner Williams' name on there, but I don't see my name on there. And not only do I not see my name on there, I've never received the first piece of mail from them. And so for y'all to have these organizations, I'm guessing that y'all send out an email or a letter or a phone call. I would not be a member of an organization that would not include any one of the 6 of y'all. And I'm disappointed that y'all are a member of an organization that excludes me. I guess because of my color, because y'all certainly cashed the check. Anyway, that's all. I'll be voting against this.
Commissioner Lynn, who is y'all? The organization?
The organization. The who? I mean, don't we have a president?
Yeah, okay, and the next thing is, did you let someone know that you wasn't?
Every year I get on this camera, and this is the same speech I give every single year.
I remember.
I've heard. Have y'all ever heard this speech before? Because I know I've said it. I've heard it.
Y'all help a brother out.
Yeah, somebody needs to check.
I'm on the floor. Let me talk.
Okay, I'll give up the floor.
And maybe I guess I didn't pay any attention. I didn't know. I mean, I just didn't. I would know. I mean, I feel you. I know what you were saying. And I really thought you was a member. I've seen you at meetings, which.
That's how I just bust on in.
Okay. Commissioner Lynch.
Well, let me make sure. You're saying that you are excluded because of what?
I'm excluded due to an oversight for the last 5 years.
That you are, what is
and
the
I have
oversight?
brought this to your attention
No,
personally
what is the oversight?
and other people's attention
But
personally.
what are you saying is the oversight? That your name isn't listed somewhere?
My name isn't listed as a member,
Okay.
and I have yet to receive even the first piece of mail,
Where
ever.
Where is your?
Never.
What website are you saying you looked at that all of our names were on that yours wasn't on?
Louisiana Association of Black County Officials, National Association of Black County Officials.
Okay.
I mean,
let me say, on the.
I mean, can you
For
have
the
it
national-
on your computer right there? Could you print it up the list and show me where my name's on there? Because
Your
you could
name
go
is
do
not-
it.
your
We could
name
have a
and nobody
recess and you
else's-
could go do it right now.
Your name and, I have my iPad here. Your
Punch it
name
up.
and nobody else's name is on any list anywhere that you could pull up on the internet. So I'm not really sure which.
It's
one.
not on the membership list either.
That's not true because I have that.
And I do too, and it's not on there.
Okay, well, I don't know what website that's misleading, Matthew. There's no website that lists the members. So that's.
And do you mail
that's not
anything to
true.
any of your
That's not
members?
true.
In the last 5 years, have y'all
Majority-
mailed
the
anything to
majority-
any of your members?
Well, this is two different organizations. This conference is totally different from the National.
I haven't received
Association.
anything from anybody.
It's totally different from the National Association of Black County Officials. The majority of the, well, really practically all of the meetings and information for the NABCO occurs in conjunction with the NACO, at the NACO conference. So if you're not going to the NACO conference, then, you know, you're not going to, you know, get the full.
Are you telling me
benefit.
that none of these organizations have mailed anybody in this room anything in the last 5 years?
I cannot say
I've not
that.
done anything.
But I can tell you that the majority of the business of the National Association of Black County Officials is conducted in conjunction with NACO. And I know that probably in the last 5 years, I'm not really sure, I can't say in the last 5 years, but certainly in the last several years.
I know that things have
They've
been
not
mailed
done.
out of this office to
So-
other people and have not been mailed to me. I don't think we're supposed to talk across the floor
Yeah,
to
we're
each
not-
other.
We're not. And that's separate from from the motion, so, but I did want to clarify that you're talking apples and oranges right now.
Ethan?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
I'd just like to say, I don't want anyone to be slighted, give the impression of the propriety that all our organizations that we are a member of, we all should be inclusive. It's unfortunate, maybe accept apology if that has happened, you feel slighted. hopefully, in the future that we can correct this problem. And hope you don't feel the way, because if it was the other shoe around, I'll feel the same way.
I've been told this every year.
But I never told you that.
Thank you for telling it to me this year.
I'm
Somebody
saying-
else will tell it to me next year.
I'm saying that if I was in your shoes, I feel the same way. Trust me.
And you should feel the same way if you were in my shoes.
But because this may be oversight or whatever the case may be, I don't want you to feel that way.
But you can't deny me my feelings.
I can. You sure can't deny me mine, Sherlock.
All right, let's go.
No more,
Get the
no
floor.
more, no more comments, please vote. That passes. Next item, please.
Authorize special resolution recognition to Southwood High School Lady Cowboys. Louisiana State
Second.
Athletic Champion.
Moved by Commissioner
Everybody wants
Cox,
some of this
second by
one.
Commissioner Williams. So did that mighty fast.
I'm paid for it, so I hope I get on it.
Please vote. That passed.
All right, we're flipping a coin to see if he's alive or asleep.
Hey,
Next we have consent
18
agenda.
one of them been outside, man.
Meeting adjourned.
You miss your 3 with it, man.
Oh, this was the topic. Yeah, this was the
Step through this up.
We're not boring.
I thought that was interesting. I'd have stayed away. I give the same speech every year. It's boring.
Coordination and Sam head up.
She's the president and the vice president. She's president, one vice president.
No, this is the state black hawk.
Was the president of the state board. He said, "I'm gonna get you on there," and it never happened.
You love
I want my t-shirt. I got it.